Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. What can Cory Sandhagen do to get past the king, Merab Dvalishvili? Let's discuss. What's up, everybody? Laura Sanko here. I am joined by Din Thomas, who is down in Florida.
In Florida, yes.
Yes, you got the Longhorn horns going again.
I
I
know you
love
see
it.
that.
Yeah, you just when you line right up, it's a really that's fantastic. Um, God, I feel like it's been a minute. You been good?
I've been good. I've
Yeah.
been I've been watching you shine as always, watching you do your thing. I've had a little bit of a break, so I've been refocusing on my coaching and all that stuff during my break. So I've been
Yeah.
coaching Amanda Nunes, still Jillian Robertson,
Ooh,
Sean Brady, and then at 320, I'm actually cornering Joe Pfeiffer against Abus
Mago
Magomedov. So
baby.
yeah, so it's
Oh,
yeah, I've been busy. I've been busy, and I've been thinking about you, Laura. I've been like, yo, I wonder what Laura's up to right now.
same. So you're a hired gun now. You're like,
Oh man,
fly me here, fly me there.
oh
Love
I'm
it.
I'm in the game. I'm on the mats. I'm a gym rat. You know, I'm a gym rat. You know that.
That's your happy place, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you're doing it. This is our happy place, and we appreciate you guys being here as always. If you can click that subscribe button, would mean a lot to us to continue growing this channel. It means Dean and I get to continue to feed ourselves and support ourselves and keep the lights on. So if you can click subscribe, please do. Um, all right, let's talk about the co-main event coming up for UFC 320. It is the bantamweight title with Merab Dvalishvili defending against Cory Sandhagen. Feels like Merab is working his way through this division, but it also feels like Cory Sandhagen is the right matchup for right now. And while I don't want to talk details yet, I do think he poses some interesting dynamics for this fight. What do you think about the matchup in
I've
general?
I've always thought Corey was the biggest threat to Marab.
Mm.
He just he's so smart, and what he does, and I remember doing this too. Whenever Eve Edwards would fight somebody that I was fighting, I'd always just watch how Eve did, and whatever he did wrong, I made sure I didn't do that, and whatever he did right, I made sure I incorporated that. And I feel like Corey Sandhagen does that a lot with when he's
Yeah.
studying fights. I think he's never really the same fighter twice. He always comes out. He's a
Hmm.
little bit different every time, and he's always so smooth. And as long as he's healthy and doesn't have injuries that can impede his movement and his ability to navigate through a fight and do what he wants, I think he's always going to be super dangerous because he leads with danger. Like he leads with it's not just control, but he leads with danger, and that poses a problem for anybody. So I think that he's probably for me right now the biggest threat to Marab's reign.
Yep, I completely agree. Before we talk about some of the details in this fight, I do want to go through some stats. Merab is 34 years old. Cory's 33, so basically the same age. Merab 5'6" to Cory's 5'11", 68-inch reach for Merab and 65-inch reach for Cory Sandhagen, although I'm seeing a typo here, so I may have written that down wrong. Don't hold me to that. Three knockouts and two submissions for Merab, and eight knockouts and three submissions for Cory Sandhagen. In terms of their UFC stats, strikes landed per minute 4.31 for Merab, 5.06 for Cory. So both of them pretty busy. Accuracy 42% for Merab, 45% for Cory. Strikes absorbed per minute 2.48 to 3.34 for Cory. 56% defense and 56% defense for both of them, actually. So honestly, their striking stats are really pretty similar when you look at the face of them. Now, obviously, takedowns landed per 15 minutes, 15.84 for Merab, which is just absurd. 1.28 for Cory. 35% takedown accuracy from Merab. He doesn't really care about being accurate. 34% for Cory. 82% takedown defense for Merab and 63% for Cory Sandhagen. And each of them has a point 0.3 submission average per 15 minutes. So honestly, other than the sheer number of takedowns, everything else is pretty similar. Merab, of course, is on this insane 13-fight win streak. You look confused. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just as you're talking about how everything's so similar. I'm thinking like these their styles couldn't be more
Could it
different.
be more different? No. Why stats? Stats to me, I always want to talk about stats because sometimes they make you go, "Whoa, I never thought about it that way," or "Oh, that's so elucidating of like some other thing. And then sometimes you're like, that doesn't really make sense. I mean, I believe them, but like that doesn't show me anything. And that's kind of how I feel about these. It's like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, really? They're that similar, but like they're
Yeah.
so different.
So different. Couldn't be more different. Could not be more different. Uh, Merab, of course, is on this insane 13 fight win streak. And I think probably the craziest thing about it to me, just from a macro perspective, is it really genuinely feels like he's getting better every fight and learning to become believe more in his submission game and believe more in his striking. Like, first we saw his striking kind of open up and blossom to complement the crazy, intense cardio and pursuit of the takedown. And now we're starting to see him open up the submissions and the being a true threat on the ground, which I know is your favorite thing of all.
Well, I like being a threat everywhere. It's just the ground is like the safest place to do it, and it just gives you more options. But with Merab, so I want to speak a little bit about the Georgian style because I've been spending a lot of time in Philly, and they have a huge Georgian population that train in Philly, and those guys are a bit different as well.
Hmm.
They're extremely, extremely tough minded and durable and focused. Now, when I was at American Top Team, I spent a lot of time around a bunch of Dagestani guys, and they were the same way, but they were more quiet and more reserved and more religious. But the Georgian guys are a little bit more outgoing
Mm-hmm.
and kind of extroverted in a way sometimes, where it's like they're extroverted, but just as serious and focused. You can see it in Marab's style. Like
There's
Marab
like
is just a
passion. There's
yeah,
just passion
he's a
shooting
big
from.
personality.
Yeah.
Marab is a big and
Yeah.
I've met some other Georgians, maybe not as big as Marab in terms of personality, but the passion is there. And it's a bit different from what we get from the American guys, because the American
Mm-hmm.
guys can tend to wilt under the pressure for as good as they think they are. When the pressure's on, they tend to wilt. The Georgian guys don't do that. They are like, yo, bring it on. Like, this is what we live for. And I think that's going to help Merab in this fight because Cory might be the most diverse striker that he's faced in terms of angling and shot selection and just how ambidextrous he is. And Merab's going to have to eat some stuff going forward. So I bring all that up because Merab's going to have to eat some stuff going forward, which I think he's going to be able to. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to be able to eat some knees going forward that you're like, ooh, how do you eat that? And he's just going to like just spit it out, just eat it and spit it out. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is that can Merab eat what he needs to eat in order to get what he wants to get? To
Mm-hmm.
me, that's going to be the biggest question of this fight because he's going
Frankie
to eat
Edgar
some
did
stuff.
not like that meal.
Yeah. Yeah. But because Corey's going to be throwing some stuff at him.
That's yes. I part of me was tempted to just lazily be like, well, who's going to beat Merab? Because that's an easy and not inaccurate take to have. Like, that's a real thing to just be like, well, who's going to beat Merab? And then as I started to think about like the skill set that Cory has, I think he really nailed it off the top. Like he's just different enough in combination that it is not anything that Merab has faced in totality before, right? Like he's got better wrestling than Sean O'Malley, much better wrestling than Sean O'Malley, and more fluid, more dangerous, more dynamic striking than Umar. He's like if Umar and Sean had a baby.
Did you have to make that gesture? And the sound of it, Laura, the sound of it.
They
The,
can they can erase that part.
I'm not even gonna redo it just because I don't know if that's what
Well,
y'all
it's
want
funny
on
because that's more anyway.
the.
We don't need to get into the biology of that not working, but my point being, there's enough of each of them, each of what Umar does well, what Sean O'Malley, I've lost my own train of thought. What they do well together in combination, in concert, the way that he so fluidly mixes all of his arts together. He might be the best in the division in terms of his well-roundedness. And well-roundedness, it doesn't always sound like the most sexy or dangerous, like, oh, he's so well-rounded. But that's a real thing.
Yeah, and I think that part of so the part of people that are really skilled and intellectual is that they need conditions to be perfect for them in order for their stuff to work. And I think that the trouble that Corey's had in the past is that he may not have accounted for everything in the past. So like when he fought TJ Dillashaw, like he didn't account for the fact that, I'm going to be kicking this guy's butt, but he might hold me up against the fence for, time, and I'm not realizing that I'm losing because he's holding me up against the fence. Same thing when he fought Umar, like he just didn't account for Umar to really rely on his wrestling as much as he did.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, jump in.
I was just going to say that fight was so interesting to me watching it back because in my mind, I remembered it being like, oh, Umar just, dominated. He really didn't dominate, to be honest with you. He did win all rounds.
Right.
Like, that's a fact. But it was one of those fights where he barely won every round.
That's what I'm saying. And more than anything, Cory was kind of frustrated because he didn't have the answer.
Yes. But if anybody can find an answer over time, it's someone with I find Cory's brain, his fight mind, to me is so up there, is so amazing. I love watching his tutorials. I love how he breaks things down, how he teaches, how he talks, the way that he's got the language. That when someone really understands something when they have the words to use to teach it to someone else.
Yes.
To accurately describe it. You have to have the language to be able to talk about it. And I'm digressing here, but that's why so many guys who can do this sport aren't always the best at talking about it or explaining the whys of what's happening. And to me, Cory Sandhagen is next level genius when it comes to understanding what's happening and why and how to talk about it. Sorry.
That fight's in 2 weeks. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but I think that a mistake that he might make, and this is what happens, and I've done this before, like when you are that cerebral and you're relying so much on finding the answers for everything, sometimes you don't account for everything, and sometimes you might overestimate certain things. I think that if he gets taken down in this fight, he is 100% going to give up his back to get to his feet with the expectation of cutting Merab's hands and being able to get out. I think Merab might have been working on how to hold the back control better. And that could be a problem. Because he might be expecting Merab to not, because Merab's not generally a back taker. Merab will just, when you give out your back, he just lets you go. But what if Merab has been working on that?
What if he just decided?
What if he decided, like, you know what? You're right, Aljamain. This is actually a really good spot.
He does have a good teacher.
You know what I'm saying? Aljamain, show me how to control this back a little bit better so that I can, because he's probably going to give up his back so that he can get back to his feet. How about me handling this? That could be a problem. And again, it's just an oversight in thinking maybe. It's a situation that might arise that Cory might not be prepared for if Merab chooses to go that route.
Yeah. I was impressed by Cory's, I know it didn't go that long, but the scrambles against Figueiredo were pretty impressive to me.
Yeah.
His ability to deal with those leg lock situations. And obviously, they chalk up the win to an injury. It's like, no, Cory caused that injury. Partly is because Figueiredo got back on top while his leg was still entangled. And I've actually done that to myself in practice before, where I pop my knee because my legs are so flexible because I don't feel it until it's too late. But Cory was the one who put him in that situation. So it wasn't just like a freak injury that happened with no contact. That was Cory out grappling one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in that and the flyweight division. That was very impressive to me.
Yeah, he punked Figueiredo for sure. He punked him. I mean, Cory's so good. I mean, talking to him, like you said, just the way he articulates his love for the game and his creativity and his art. It's not like you see from other guys. Most other guys are just not like that. And I got a lot of respect for that. and I really still believe that he's the biggest threat to not only Merab but to everybody else in the division. Which is why he finds himself in this spot often. He's always, to me, he should always be right there to fight for a title, because at any given day, if he's on and he executes, he's gonna win a title.
Yeah. If you had to pick who you would go on a comedy tour with, would you pick Merab or would you pick Cory? Because
I guess
Cory's
I'm bringing both of them.
media is my absolute favorite right now, I have to say.
Cory is.
I love Merab too. Merab is hilarious. Merab is a little bit more like slapstick. Have you watched Cory's stuff?
I've seen some of Cory's stuff.
It's like watching an episode of The Office, but in an MMA context.
I was about to say.
So dead. I love it so much.
No, I was about to say if I was doing a sitcom, I'm taking Cory. But if I'm going on the road to do like a reality show for comedy, I'm taking Merab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the right answer. I've never met someone with so much energy as Merab has. The night before his last fight with Sean O'Malley, I ended up at a dinner that he was hosting there in town with like 30 people. And he's literally like holding court and just making sure that everyone feels so welcome. And, he's pouring everyone, Georgian wine and like going around and talking to everybody. And I was sitting next to John Wood. I was like, aren't you worried that he's going to be like worn out tomorrow? I'm one of those people where like after I call fights, I'm dead for a full day. It wears my social battery out so much. I'm naturally kind of an introverted person. Like I like being quiet. I like being alone. And so it's hard for me to be on. He is on all the time and he's an absolute maniac. And it's just fascinating to me because it's like, it's not just this cardio base. He has like a mental energy and an energetic personality that just does not stop.
First, I'm with you, Laura. Like people think I'm this like extroverted guy. I'm an introvert. You know me, and you know me. Like we be done the show. We be right back in the room. Whoop,
Right.
yep. Peace. I see y'all in a couple months.
Yeah.
Don't bother me. But Merab, like their baseline for just being out there and just talking and moving around and being busy. Their baseline is just so much higher than the normal person.
It really is. I envy people like that, but he truly is the I don't know him that well, but like observationally, I've never seen someone with so much energy all the freaking time. It's amazing. I kind of digressed us there, but so back to the fight. How do you, if you're coaching or cornering Cory Sandhagen, what are some of the things that you want out of your fighter?
I don't know if this is good. I don't know if you're going to ask me this question later, but I'll just go ahead and just incorporate this into my answer now. And this is what I would assume the X factor to be in this fight. And that is Cory Sandhagen's offensive wrestling, which I think that he can 100% utilize and take advantage of Merab if he's able to get him down. Because Cory Sandhagen has such great movement and he disguises the shot behind his movement and his offensive striking, that if he can use that, and if I was coaching him, I would absolutely have him shoot on Merab and just keep Merab off balance or get Merab on the ground or just take advantage of Merab on the ground. I would absolutely do that. So Cory Sandhagen is great at a lot of things, and when he uses his offensive wrestling, like when you watch his fight against Song Yadong and all these other great fighters, and he was able to just stun on him. He's juking. Then he takes a shot, gets him down. Boom. He can do that to Merab, and I would absolutely, with uncertainty, have him do that against Merab and then put Merab on the defensive in terms of wrestling.
I love it. What do you feel like is next? Obviously, lots of choices for Cory if he wins. Just literally pick anybody. But what about Merab? What's he gonna do?
I think Merab's the type of guy that just won't mind, running a bet, lapping dudes. Let's run it back. Let's lap it. You know what I'm saying? I
I
think,
kind of miss the days of people being like, no, this is my division.
yeah.
You come to me. I don't care if you're ranked 7, 8. I don't care if I fought you before. We'll fight again. I'll beat you again.
Well, I'm gonna be nice to everybody tonight. I'm not always nice to everybody. I like to call people out on their BS, but I'm gonna be nice tonight, and I'm gonna say that's just a sign of our times that we just want instant gratification and constantly moving forward, as opposed to just being like, all right, this is mine. I'm gonna plant my flag right here and see who can take it. We don't do that anymore, and
Hmm.
but like I said, I'm being nice, and I'm gonna say it's a just everybody wanting instant gratification, trying to move forward. But I also, with that being said, I think it's a bit more cowardice to do it that way, because if you move up and weight and you lose, they just gonna say, oh, who cares?
Yeah.
But it's more difficult to plant your flag and be like, yo,
Hmm.
I'll run it back against all y'all. I'll lap all y'all, and the next guy coming up.
There's definitely the like everybody wants to be written in that history book too, right? And that list of double champs is it's going to get longer over time, but it's still relatively short. And so, it's a sport where well, any sport, you want to know that 100 years from now you're on some sort of list.
Well,
And
I want
so
why not be on the list of 15 title defenses?
I agree with you. What I'm saying is, I agree with you that it's like you have none of the downside because it's like, oh well, I went up and I tried and I lost and oh well, I'm still the king here. And if you win, you're like, sweet, I'm a double champ. I'm on the list. Blah blah blah. I'm with you. I think that reigning and defending in your own kingdom and doing it over the long haul and doing it over and over again, no matter what, even if it's an uninspiring challenger. Sometimes those uninspiring challengers end up being some of the toughest tests for people, right? Remember when DJ fought Tim Elliott?
Yeah, I
You
was just
know,
about to say that was like
like
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I said,
yeah.
what is this?
So it is the more dangerous thing to do, even though the people may not have the ranking. I don't know. I'm old fashioned like that. I like that as well.
I
What's
think we have one champ that is willing to do that. Pantoja.
yeah, yeah,
Pantoja might be that guy. And just hey, listen, line him up for Pantoja. Let him fight and let him create his own division, and that's his, and he can be the man there. This is his castle. Let him do that, man. Let's not
yeah.
keep these guys bouncing around these different weight classes. I mean, it's kind of cool, but you know what? I want to see a dude stay in a division and not lose for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I'm with you. The only thing that sucks for Pantoja is that he's in the same division as Demetrius Johnson was. There's nothing
Yeah, a
wrong
long
with.
way to go.
I know there's nothing wrong with being 1A,
Second.
1B though. Nothing wrong with that. Uh, well, I'm gonna ask for your prediction then. So how do you think this fight's gonna go and who's gonna get it done?
While I said Cory Sandhagen is the biggest threat to Merab, I think Cory Sandhagen, and I've expressed this earlier, Cory Sandhagen is the biggest threat to everybody in the division because of his versatility, his intelligence, and the way he operates and fights. I still don't think he wins this fight. I still think Merab is going to pull it off. Something about where Merab is right now, he's feeling himself. He's in his peak. He's in his prime, and I think it's going to take more than some diversity and a couple flying knees to the face to stop him. I think he's going to get Cory Sandhagen down. He's going to make Cory Sandhagen go, damn it, I didn't think about this.
Yeah.
And then that's when Cory does that. That's the end of that's the demise right there. When you get a fighter to go, damn it, I didn't consider this part. And I think Merab's going to be able to do that to him.
There's a distinct possibility that the only one who can beat Merab Dvalishvili is time, Father Time. And we certainly don't see any signs of it. I'm not saying that, but he could keep this up for another, what is he, 34, I just said? Another 3-4 years. I think he's got that in him.
Yeah. And I'm here for it. I like you talked about his energy earlier. He's got great energy. He's good to be around. He's good to people. He's a great champion.
Yeah. Yeah, he is
I
good.
hope he
He's good
reigns.
to people. I like that. I
Yeah.
completely agree with that. Speaking of which, before we wrap this up, we do have a fan comment / question. So from Gulb180, he says, with Merab's dominance over the bantamweight division, it seems to me like the only thing that's going to end his run is age and mileage. At 34, he has still shown no evidence of this. I feel like I just talked about this. But how many more defenses do you think he has in him before he diminishes? By the way, keep up the good work. I value you guys, and I love your breakdowns. So sorry to be repetitive here, but I guess he asked a specific question. How many more defenses? And he's pretty active because what is this? I'm not going to be able to do the math, but he's very active.
I'm going to say he gets 3 more.
I think he's got. I'm going to say 4, maybe 5.
Think so?
I do.
You know who I think might be the biggest threat to Merab right now?
Huh.
Vinicius Oliveira.
Really? Lock dog?
Yeah.
What do you like about that matchup?
That guy, he just don't stop.
No.
And he seems to be, he fights with an ignorance about him.
He's got a hell of a chin.
That's my point. Like, he's got a
Yeah.
hell of a chin and an ignorance about him that will not allow him to stop, no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah.
And he
Kind of
hits
reminds me of
really
early
hard.
Merab, but like more of a grab,
But with heavier hands.
Yeah.
So
That's what I mean.
yeah, so what I'm thinking is if Merab starts slowing down and he fights a guy like that, that'll be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a problem for Merab. Like if Merab starts, like Merab would beat him today. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But in 2-3 years, if Merab starts slowing down a bit and that guy creeps through the rankings and Merab's standing across from him, I'll be a little nervous for Merab.
Mystic Dean, we shall see.
I'll be a little nervous.
We'll have to clip this and file it away for future reference.
Or yeah, for like how wrong I was.
Well, if you're wrong, we just won't run it.
No, let it. Hey, listen, bring it on, bring it on.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate you. I will see you the week of 320. We will see you guys next time.